So one little story that was told by Sheikh Ahmed ibn Mustafa al-Alawi, which I think is a beautiful story. He said he was talking about one of the miracles of his sheikh. And he was in Algeria in the time of the French, when in the colonialism, and the Christians had come there and they had built a monastery there. It was known as the monastery of the king, and it was filled with these people. They'd come and they actually, the Christians would leave France and go to Algeria and establish these monasteries because it was the desert and so on and so forth like that, and they were known for that. And so there was this monastery that was near to where his sheikh was. And this is the story. Of those people who were in the monastery, 10 of them, they decided that they were going to test the sheikh. And so they disguised themselves and they came dressed up as Muslims. And they entered the masjid and they sat with the people listening. And no one knew anything about them at the time, who they were, where did these people come from. But people traveled all the time, so maybe there's some group of people. And the sheikh wanted to talk, and he was silent until a man, came who was a tailor. And he said to the sheikh, "What took you so long?" I mean, the sheikh said to the tailor, "What took you so long?" And he said, "Sidi, you gave me this job, 10 robes. You told me only yesterday to make these robes." The sheikh took the robes from him, and he got up, and he dressed every one of those monks in a robe, like a galabiya. Then the sheikh began to speak. He said, "Ya fukara, oh you poor people. When the breeze of grace blows from the direction of truth, exalted is He, upon the illuminated hearts, it extinguishes all lights." And then the sheikh went, and may Allah be pleased with all of the candles in the masjid went out. This was before electricity. And there were more than 30 of them. And then the sheikh was silent and he lowered his gaze and no one tried to speak because of the greatness of their awe of him. And then he raised his head and he said, "O Fuqara, there is no deity but Allah. When the light of concern shines on dead hearts, they come alive and every darkness is illuminated for them." And he breathed in and all the candles burst into flame and their light returned to them. And everybody was very excited and they were swaying in this. And then the sheikh recited from one of the ayat of prostration and he prostrated. And then the people prostrated. Because when you read these ayats of prostration, you have to prostrate. So everybody prostrated. And the monks had to prostrate because everybody was prostrating, right? Then he said in his sajda, "Ya Allah," I'm translating, "Ya Allah, you know the best management of your creatures. You know what is a benefit to your slaves. These monks, now they're in harmony with the Muslims in their clothing and in their prostration. You have transformed their outward appearance, and no one other than you can change their inward appearance. You have seated them at the table of your generosity. So please, Allah, deliver them from shirk and from going beyond the hudud, the limits, and bring them out of the darkness of covering into the light of Iman." And the monks had just lifted their heads from prostration that they had previously avoided, shunning the truth, and they finished with the error and going beyond them. They went to the sheikh and they turned from the kufr at his hands with tears and grieving hearts. And the people cried out and they wept because of their weeping, and it was a singular day. Indeed, 3 people died in that assembly. Their affair reached the king and he treated them well and honored their dwelling place, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the sheikh was extremely joyous at all and he thanked them. So this is the thing. Allah says in the Quran, be with the righteous people. It's an order. Shaykh Muhyiddin ibn al-Arabi, Qaddasallahu Sirruhu, in Futuhat Makkiyah says, when you keep company, you must do so with the company of those people who will benefit you. When you keep company, when you hang out with people, hang out with the people who are going to benefit you by their knowledge, which you witness in them actions, good character, and these things. When a person sits with somebody whose company reminds him of the akhirah, he must obtain something according to the success that Allah gives him in that. And when the one who sits with this, he gets a transference and he accepts the companion by the remembrance of Allah, the remembrance contained in the Quran. So he says, وَذِكْرَ اللَّهُ أَكْبَرُ. And he says, أُتْلُ مَنْ أُوحِيَ إِلَيْكَ مِنَ الْكِتَابِ وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةَ إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ تَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنكَرِ وَالْبَغْيِ وَذِكْرُ اللَّهُ أَكْبَرُ وَاللَّهُ يَعْلَمُ مَا تَصْنَعُونَ. Say this way, if you want to come together with people, this is what you should do. Recite what has been revealed to you from the book, okay? Read Quran with them, establish salat, because the salat is the thing that preserves from filth and evil. remembrance of Allah, and Allah is the greatest. Allah knows what you do. And Allah says, وَأَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ الذِّكْرَ, and Allah sent down the remembrance upon you. And the Shaykh said finally that the people of the Quran are the people of Allah and His elite. And the elite are the friends who sit in the company of the king. So that's where we'd like to sit for all of us. So this comes through keeping company with like that. So I urge you all to keep company with one another, keep company with your Shaykh. Learn from him, absorb from him. If you don't have one, find one. But that's the situation which will benefit you for this life and the next, inshallah. Alhamdulillah. Allahumma salli wa sallam wa barak ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ahli al-bayt al-kiram wa ashabihi mukhlisin wa tabayin wa tabaihim wa awliya Allah salihin wa ulama muttaqin wa shuhada mutahharin wa jami' mashayikhina murabbina mashidina ila Allah ta'ala. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Salamun ala mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.